Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all the respective participants, depending on what part of the world you have joined us from. Welcome to the Demo Day event as Research Annual Conference. Today, at our Research 2024 Demo Day, we are thrilled to present you live demos from promising RWE innovators, each offering breakthrough platforms designed to address key challenges in healthcare. These demos will provide a peek into how some of these advanced tools are solving pressing issues and advancing the field of real-world evidence. Following each demonstration, time permitting, there'll also be an interactive Q&A session where you will engage directly with these innovators who have been the brains behind these cutting-edge technologies. This event is a unique opportunity for all of us to witness firsthand some of the cutting-edge solutions that are shaping the future of healthcare and driving significant improvements in the world of real-world evidence. The first company today we have is WinHealth. We have the founder of WinHealth, Shashank Mishra, will be demoing the solution. As a brief introduction, WinHealth.Care is a pioneering digital therapeutics company dedicated to addressing chronic gut health issues through innovative science-backed solutions. They focus on functional gastrointestinal disorders and leverage the latest advancements in technology and research to offer personalized healthcare and effective management strategies. Over to Shashank for the demo.
Am I audible now?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Paurav, for a lovely introduction and giving me an opportunity to present my innovation in front of a lot of people. So it's a privilege. So is my screen visible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So WinHealth.Care is a digital therapeutic company. In a layman term, we can say it's a digital pharma where we leverage high-end technology like AR, VR, AI, ML, IoT-based devices, and digital therapy to form a digital molecule. And that digital molecule can be blended with the traditional drugs to form a hybrid drug. And why is there is a requirement of it? Because we know drug act as a suppressant for chronic condition. So that's where even global companies and Indian companies are adopting DTX so that it becomes more holistic and better for the management of chronic condition. But the important part which plays over here is that all the DTX need to be clinically validated over a RWE or RCT trial. So just will share a global trend about DTX like Bayer, AstraZeneca, Novo Nordisk, Johnson & Johnson. Majority of global companies has tied up with one or the another form of a DTX company for their chronic portfolio management. Similarly, in India, Dr. Reddy Labs has launched Daily Bloom, Niravio for migraine. Lupin has launched Live for cardiac DTX, and Zydus has launched the Tatva-Care, that is for management of COPD, asthma, and CKD issues. Similarly, we are trying to solve issue of FGID, that stands for functional gastrointestinal disorder, which includes problem like IBS, functional dyspepsia, chronic constipation, chronic diarrhea, and GERD GERD. If you talk about prevalence, in India, it's around 20% urban cities suffers from one or the another form of an FGID issue. Globally, it's 40. And the current solution is either in form of a drug, if you go to a gastroenterologist, or in form of a food science, if you go to Ayurvedic, homeopathic, or nutritional support. But that the major thing which is often overlooked is the connection between gut and brain interactions. So FGID is also known as a disorder between gut and brain interaction. And that's why it's a psychosomatic issue. And that's where it is left unaddressed and people doesn't get a right solution. So if we talk about FGID with other chronic condition, like FGID stands ahead in terms of poor quality of life. If you talk about diabetes, so we have to just neglect high sugary food. If you talk about hypertension, a morning pill and evening pill will again help you to live your life to the fullest. But over here, people spend around 3 to 4 hours in washroom. They have a very high frequency of stool, the irregular bowel movement, pain, even they feel socially isolated, and a lot of work and productivity also goes down, and limited dietary option, and also financial burden. So these are the points which makes FGID as in high, like poor quality issues. So come up with the right solution. We understood about healthcare triad, which drives the Indian healthcare ecosystem, that is patient, physician, and pharma. For us, physician is gastro. So around 30% people who visit to gastro are usually categorized under FGID, and they tends to lose, and losing 30% patient for a super specialist becomes an issue. Similarly, FGID patient takes 2x to 3x of doctor time. A normal doctor consultation is 7 to 10 minutes, but they take 20 to 30 minutes because of explaining their poor quality of life and how they are being impacted in their regular lifestyle. Again, there is limited data, and obviously there is no that much of easy access to the comprehensive gastro care at the same time. On patient side, they don't get a long-term solution, a very poor quality of life. That's why they are ready to pay. No solution in allopathy, Ayurvedic, or homeopathic, and access to a barrier to access comprehensive care. And already shared like why Indian pharma is adopting DTX, because we know Indian pharma is more often generic, and that's the reason they are blending generic with DTX, so it creates more of an innovation for the site. So it's a doctor-led program where doctor will be leading the program, and we provide a hyper-personalized behavior data set which we are creating, and that would be deployed over an AI model which creates a personalization after some time. So just to give you a context, a person visits to a gastroenterologist. After visiting to gastroenterologist, doctor will be writing a medication and ask a patient to scan a QR. After scanning a QR, patient will be taken to WhatsApp. After understanding social background of like social economic background and their condition, our behavioral expert will ask them to download app if they are technocrat. If not, then everything will be taken over WhatsApp side. As I already shared, there like lack of information with the doctor. That's why there is a freemium dashboard given to the doctor side so that they can track patient improvement and the data to make more informed clinical decision. So over here, our main USP lies to address the psychosomatic trigger of a patient. So just to give you a more context use case scenario, one of the doctor, he himself was a pulmonologist. He was suffering from IBS. So after taking 2 to 3 sessions, we got the major cause of trigger for him was perfectionism. So perfectionism is a thought like where you feel like everything should go as per your thought process. If it gets diverted from that thing, so that used to be a trigger for him. Similarly, for other patient, it could be a childhood trauma or a child abandonment. So these are the things which cannot be addressed by a doctor side. So that's how we empower doctors and hospitals by this solution. Though these are like some case studies where like we have tremendously improved their severity symptom score, quality of life, and dash, that is depression and anxiety scales, and obviously the physiological symptoms affected while working on the psychosomatic triggers. So these are our randomized control trial data, which shows the improvisation. Like there are two arms. One arm is DTX arm, another is gastro. So one arm is gastro, and another is gastro plus DTX. So we can see in drug arm, the gastro arm, the progress has been quite stagnant, and it also increased with the time. But in drug plus DTX, you can see how with the time interval of 4, 8, and 12 weeks, it's been reduced. So it's been tremendously improvising the outcome at the same time. And even the quality of life has been improved with the time. And if you talk about depression anxiety scale, that is a dash scale, has again shows a tremendous improvement over here. And if you talk about the global market, like US and EU are the early adopter of DTX. And in India, we are targeting tier 1 cities. That would be Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Delhi, that have a population of 9.1 CR, out of which we considered as a practical scale that let's say 6% of people suffer from FGID. That would be 54 lakh people. And converting 10% people in another 7 to 8 years will get an excess of 5 lakh people multiplying 10K INR. That is half cost of our subscription, can get us in market access. That is bare minimum of 65 million. That would be 540 CR in India itself. So these are some competitive metrics and all. This shows how we are improvising the patient life plus reducing the cost of it for a longer term. And this is a landscape of global competitors. We have a direct competitor in India, Daily Bloom by Dr. Reddy Labs. Then we have a global competitor, Mahana, which has recently acquired CaraCare. It's an EU-based company, CaraCare. Just to increase Mahana's footprint in EU side, they have acquired Cara. And then if we talk about the main differentiator between all of us, so the main differentiation is we work more towards more psychosomatic, addressing the psychosomatic issues. But Mana has a self-assessed CBT, that is again a generalized approach. And similarly, Daily Bloom have meditation, yoga, and breathing techniques. So that's great. I mean, this is something we are creating a data set which is unique in terms of globally if we talk about, and that's where I'll be deploying our AI generative model after like treating 2,000 to 3,000 patients, knowing the psychosomatic triggers and all. And again, we have a dashboard and a different revenue model comparative to other people. So currently we are tying up with hospital and gastroenterologists. They can adopt to our technology at zero cost by a B2B2C model. And we also share revenue with them, plus the data and multiple other aspects, which helps them to retain their patient for the long ago. After publishing our data of RCT, we will be tying up with competitors of Dr. Reddy Labs like Sun Pharma or Abbott or anyone else who has a gastro portfolio, where we can white label our product so that they can get more market access in terms of marketing and getting more patient retention and data. And that data can be helping formulating personalized medication at the same time. So currently we have onboarded 10 gastroenterologists, 2 hospital and 2 gut diagnostic company. Recently we have in June, we have started generating revenue. We are integrative protocol backed by RCT data and a hyper personalized approach for developing a generative AI model. So that's it. We are a team of 8. I look after product and innovation. Harshang look after sales. Karan look after strategies and finance side. Sindhuji is a nutrigenomic and micronutrition expert. Deepak Salvi and Ravikesh ji has helped us to develop our protocol, and Sambit look after the tech side. We have a team of advisory of 4 people, where we have Gunjan Jain, she's an ex-CEO of Tatva-Care, under which COPD asthma was developed, and Bharat Patel, he's a technocrat, and Jatin ji, who has helped us after doing an A and B testing with Dr. Reddy Lab, he got impressed and onboarded as a medical gastro. And Varun Agrawala is a specialist for microbiome, specifically FMT, fecal microbiome transplantation. That's it. I would love to take questions.
Thank you, Shashank, for the beautiful presentation. Let's wait for a moment if there are any questions. Then we'll wrap up and, in interest of time, move on to the next company. Any follow-on questions that come up, we'll direct them to you offline.
Sure, definitely.
Thank you, Shashank.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, Michael.
Okay, great.
I can hear you.
Can you see my screen, the Concinnity slide?
We can.
Okay.
Now that you're on, I'll just give a brief intro.
Thank you.
For everybody. So everyone, the next we have is the Concinnity Company. And from the Concinnity Company, we have Michael D'Amico. Just a brief about the Concinnity Company. It's a company which is powered by over a century of combined expertise from seasoned board and C-suite leaders. Their flagship product, Cloud Concinnity, is a state-of-art, secure cloud-based platform that redefines clinical trial processes management by offering seamless access, controlled processes, and transparent outcomes. The company is dedicated to transforming clinical trials by enhancing collaboration, streamlining communication, and managing risk through an advanced technology architecture. I hand it over to Michael to give a brief overview of the company and their flagship product.
Thank you, Parav. It's nice to be here today. As Parav mentioned, my name is Michael D'Amico. I'm the managing director at the Concinnity Company. We are a early growth stage company. We are scaling over the last 12 to 18 months. We've onboarded over approximately 50 new sponsor customers, and that is across 60 actual projects. And so our 3 areas of focus is really ensuring efficient trial coordination, and that is through centralization, collaboration, and compliance. And I'm just going to go ahead and provide a very high-level overview, focusing on those 3 areas within Cloud Concinnity. So here we have our Cloud Concinnity flagship application. We are here on the global dashboard, where projects are centralized into one central location. And so this global dashboard will house all of your studies/projects. The example that we will review today is around independent safety oversight, but I would like to emphasize the use case is really around process management and increasing your efficiency in terms of trial management, anywhere from 35 to 50%. So on this global dashboard, you'll see here, this is a example study called the Cystatron. For this use case of independent safety oversight, this particular project required both an open and closed workspace, where all open activity and all open work was accessible to both blinded and unblinded participants. And that workspace is right here, if you'll follow my cursor. Immediately below that open workspace, we have an unblinded or closed workspace where only unblinded closed participants would have access. So for example, in if we look at a data safety monitoring board project, only the unblinded participants, it is a role-based platform, so only those with unblinded access would see this workspace. So for example, the sponsor representative would not even have access to this workspace on their global dashboard. So if I scroll down here, this is that central location where all of your projects can be housed. I'm going to go ahead and click into this workspace. We're going to go ahead and click into the Cystatron closed workspace on my tasks page. So this is all around process management and streamlining your process and accelerating clinical research. So here we are on my tasks page. I'm going to go ahead and just click over to the back end where there is an image of a workflow. So in this particular workflow, it is for a closed session workflow for an unblinded, unmasked trial. If I go ahead and zoom in, so these rectangles here are representative of different tasks. The platform is extremely flexible in terms of we are able to kind of adhere to pretty much any process. You'll notice here within these tasks, there is functionality. And some examples of that functionality could possibly be uploading and reviewing a document. You could store votes or surveys. There are some integration opportunities here with the EDCs as well as ETMFs. If I go ahead and click over here, these are just some examples of our integration. This is a 21 CFR Part 11 platform. These are just some examples. So, Zoom integration or WebEx, we're completely agnostic to the video conference. DocuSign and Adobe are another couple of strong examples. Those also being the 21/7 Part 11 compliant applications. So those are just some examples of integration opportunities. So if we go back here to our task page, I went ahead and deployed this workflow right here before this presentation. So just to kind of give you that front end user view, we have 3 tasks here that I went ahead and deployed. One being uploading of some tables, listings, and figures. Keep in mind, we are in the unblinded workspace, so only those unblinded participants would have access to this. And you'll notice here, if I look at a couple of different tasks, we've got 3 participants that have access to this particular task. But if we look at another task example where we're asking one of the participants to sign with our integrated signature platform, you've got just 1 participant in this. So basically, Dr. Seuss does not even have access to this particular task and vice versa. We scroll down here, we've got another example of a task, and we've got obviously more participants around here. This is the reviewing and editing of closed session meeting minutes. The reason why I had presented these 3 particular tasks, it really speaks to our 3 core focus areas of centralizing. So in a lot of instances, our customers prior to using the Cloud Concinnity platform were using disjointed point solutions. And so we've been able to kind of integrate all of those solutions, minimizing simple things like logging into multiple different systems. It is a single sign-on system. Excuse me. So around collaboration, and this is just one example, you have the ability to collaborate on a variety of different documents. But this simple task right here is just reviewing some meeting minutes. So I'll go ahead and just click into this, and keep in mind this persona that I'm using right now is Michael D'Amico. But if I go ahead and click into this template document, you'll notice here we've got our meeting minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just toggle over briefly to my other persona, which is Dr. Seuss. You'll notice here that he has that task as well right here. And so if I go ahead and click into that as Dr. Seuss, you'll notice here Michael and Dr. Seuss are collaborating on this document. So there are a variety of different documents that we can collaborate on with real-time editing and tracking as well, similar to using the Microsoft stack, accepting and rejecting changes, version control, elements of that nature. I'm going to go ahead and just exit out of this one, and we'll move on to that next task. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. If If you'll notice here, this other task is around signing of a recommendation letter. So in this example, through the DSMB process, let's just say, for example, the committee is recommending for the study to proceed. This recommendation letter here is built directly into our system. I've already teed it up for signature, but if I kind of go back over here to Dr. Seuss's environment, this will open up that integrated Part 11 Adobe platform. And all of this is captured and preserved. As I mentioned earlier, there's the ability to integrate with eTMF. I apologize. So all final documents can be exported, or we have an API that it could seamlessly connect with the eTMF and pull directly through that. So all of this is actually being digitally footprinted from an audit perspective. So every click that we make, every document that we open is being digitally footprinted. So you could pull audit reports. One other report that our clients have really enjoyed, if we take a look at this workflow and all of the tasks that are involved, you have the ability to monitor the progress of that particular workflow. So if I go here, navigate to that homepage, you'll notice here is an illustration of the workflow we were just working on with all of the related tasks and the status of those tasks. So it gives you really good visibility into the actual process in terms of tasks being overdue or due date is approaching. At that global dashboard level, this has been really helpful for our customers with a high number of studies going on simultaneously. You have the ability to pull a workflow progress report across multiple studies to get insight into the progress to each of those studies. The system also comes with a robust notification profile system. So if you think here about all of these particular tasks that have been assigned to you and perhaps meetings that you have been invited to, all of those events, you could configure your notification profile to receive notifications, very robust, via text and or via email. And not only does that apply to tasks and meetings, but it also applies to documents that have been shared with you. You can message directly into the platform. Meetings are scheduled directly in the platform as well. And so you've got your centralization, everything kind of coming together under one central location, the ability to collaborate with your stakeholders on important documents, and then in a compliant Part 11 manner. What we have found historically is that the customers that we are meeting with are working with those kind of disjointed point solutions. So there's been a lot of value bringing all of these point solutions together and driving efficiency upwards of 35 to 50%. I don't want to go over my time limit, and I just wanted to thank you. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say thank you, Michael. Thank you for showing around the platform. I hope everybody had an insightful demo session here. I would now like to invite our next demoer, Anjali Kulkarni from 4WayCare. It is an Illumina accelerator company that is engaged in developing cutting-edge precision oncology solutions using advanced genomics and digital technology. It helps clinicians to choose optimal targeted therapy with a unique set of genomic panels developed and validated comprehensively. So I'd now like to invite Anjali to show her platform to us.
Good evening, audience, and I'm Dr. Anjali. Shikha, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So today we will be talking about the real world data and the real world evidence, especially in oncology. So I'm Dr. Anjali Kulkarni. By training, I'm a radiation oncologist, and currently I'm working with 4WayCare, a precision oncology company, with the real world data, harnessing the real world data creating evidence, and how we can help clinician do a patient treatment better and take informed decisions. So the whole quick session today about a product which we have created around the clinical data, how that product can be adopted by the clinicians and the hospitals and many more who deal with the clinical data, and what kind of insights they can bring out harnessing the real world data. So all it is about precision oncology practice using their own data. So when we talk about the real world data, especially in the clinical setting, there are many very types of data which are available. So as we all know, the electronic medical records are one of the getting adopted very quickly across different hospitals. Globally, it was a very well adoption, and here in India, we were not very sure, and we had a little slower adoption to start with. But I think we are picking up with the digital health adoption overall. I think electronic medical data capture is also getting mature. So, what is real world data in the clinical setting? So, these are usually the clinical notes and the summary, the patient assessment notes which different doctors make through. And in a specialty like oncology, there will be many doctors who will be seeing the patient. So, there are different notes which are helping to write down the patient assessment, the treatment, the patient journey, and if there are any adverse event happening to the patient during the treatment course. Same time, real world data in the clinical setting can be a imaging data. So lot many images get done for a patient in a cancer treatment journey, and that also help us to build a big pool of real world data and build the evidence on top of it. And the next most important is a laboratory data or a pathology data. And at base care, we do a lot of genomic testing, so genomic data. So in the clinical world, when we talk about a real world data, is actually it's a multidimensional data. There can be text data, there can be imaging data, there can be numbers, there can be signals, and there can be videos coming from scopies and things like that. So it's a multidimensional data, and the most important is it's a longitudinal data. Especially a cancer patient, it goes from a diagnostic to a treatment and followed by the outcome and survival. The journey can be from few months to few years, and there is a whole lot of longitudinal data. So in case of a real world scenario, making this data available longitudinally and making sense at every point of time is of very much importance. And currently, the biggest challenge comes in a real world clinical data is often the data is fragmented, and to generate any kind of insights there right through the data source or the data repository has a huge challenge. So the biggest healthcare challenge being the standardization, and the same way the standardization in data capture, data storage, and then doing the further analysis. And as we know, there are many standards followed in the real world data. And in the Indian context, actually, we are not talking about the insurance data or claims data. I think we have not arrived there as a nation, but we will be soon approaching toward that. And that also adds up to a real world data. When we talk about a longitudinal patient journey, there can be a different parameters, and there are different standards used across to capture a patient journey. There can be codes like ICD, there can be AJCC-TNM staging, there can be FHIR format for interoperability, there can be SNOMED format which standardizes the each clinical parameter. There can be few guidelines like CAP guidelines. And then here you can see how the longitudinal patient journey can be built using these real world data, and then the clinician will be able to use this data in his patient care. So we at base care, we have created a product called OncoBench. OncoBench sits on top of any electronic medical record system or any even the paper-based record system, where we can have all the real world data from the patient, either structured, semi-structured, or unstructured, to capture in a very precise format. And then this real world data can be standardized and then stored in the very methodical way in the data lake, and on top of it we can build an analytics platform. So this is the whole idea behind OncoBench. And OncoBench is a very simple, very fast, very flexible, 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 who comes to our diagnostic lab, and we have the whole amount of information available through this patient. What happens when we standardize the real world data? Then there can be a nice patient summary which is quickly accessible both by the patient, clinician, researchers, even the drug discovery, pharmas, or many more people who work on the patient data. It can be a very good educational tool for new doctors or a new generation of researchers who are coming through. They can find out what kind of insight can be built, or it can be used as a part of a multidisciplinary data. So at 4BaseCare, we have created the OncoBench as a very structured data capturing platform. And on top of it, we have built our analytics engine. So there are different types of analytics we are doing that can be as basic as creating a different patient cohorts, comparing the cohorts and then outcome. Same time, we can build some kind of a precision analytics. So when we build the cohort, we can go ahead and check whether a similar patient existed in the past, and can that data be harnessed by the clinician for a future decision. And in that case, we can build a very very precise personalized kind of a treatment protocol depending upon the real world data from the retrospective clinical data pool. And similarly, we can even use a prospective data very standardized way and try to see how many patient match a similar clinicogenomic factors when the clinician would like to take a decision. And all of us know in the clinical world about a clinical trial. So finding a perfect patient match is a big huge challenge, and a lot of pharma companies, clinical trials, CROs go through this. And when we have a very structured data format which was shown through our product OncoBench, I think we will be able to do the clinical trial matching for the patient at a very very better way and a quicker way, where we can have a first line filter from a huge pool of multicentric patient, and then filter it down to depending upon the inclusion and exclusion criteria. The next most interesting, I think this might be interesting to a clinician to see how many patient did well in his practice in last 2 years, or it might be a very important or a insightful for a head of a department to see which type of cancer patients are coming to his department and which types are going through the genomic test. So you can see this whole analytics, it is built on the OncoBench platform which I was talking about. So whole structured data captured can be powered by this analytics engine, and we can create different insights. These insights can be depending upon the specialities, this can be depending upon the cancer type. Sometimes if we want to create some insight depending upon the drug usage, we can build that kind of a dashboards. And once they are powered by a real world data, I think that they can be a live dashboard for anybody to look after. And even the patient will get very excited if we show that so many similar patients are coming, we are treating them and they are doing well and they are surviving and having a very good quality of life. So I think in the real world, catching up and doing the best analytics work will help both the patients and clinicians. Of course, this can the real world data can help develop publications. We know there are a lot of publication regulatory support even for the insurance pharma companies. Getting real world insights is very very useful. We can build a clinical decision support system which will be sitting on top of real world data repository. We can collaborate a lot of research. We can do a care protocol optimization, and of course the patient outcome analysis is possible. So our platform goes through a different offerings across, and these are just to note it down few. I will be happy to reach out for any questions, or anybody who has any more question, please reach out to me at anjali@com, and we'll be happy to answer. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
I will share with you. Thank you, Dr. Anjali, for going through 4BaseCare and their features. I would now like to invite our next demoer, Adam Kozak from Segmed. Just to give you a little bit brief about Segmed, it provides that at-scale access to novel clinical data globally, offering millions of diagnostic-grade medical images to accelerate innovation and mature the evidence needs of life sciences and technology industry. Their solutions allow to access RWD network to facilitate rapid discovery and investigational capability of imaging data, development of early disease detection and prediction models, improve patient recruitment, and reduce operating burden to access therapeutic data ecosystem. I would now like to call Adam on stage and give the demo.
And once again, it's awesome to present in front of you. My name is Adam. I'm one of the Segmed's co-founder and CTO. I'm joined by one of our teammates, Chief Product Officer. His name is Donny Owen. Hey, Donny, I hope you are there. And overall, today we wanted to present what Segmed has to offer. The company is 5.5 years old. We have an awesome team. And the mission of the company is basically building the technology that unlocks medical imaging data for innovation. So I have a quick overview of the company. I will tell you a little bit more about our products and offering, and then we can wrap it up. Once again, I'm joined by an extended team. So it's not only me out there. I'm presenting on the behalf of our team. So Martin is our CEO, and some of you may already know Martin, but overall, we have Jay and me working on all sorts of things, so product and also data offering. And Matt and Aline are our champions in terms of actually helping people out to find the data on the platform and also training our customers how to use the platform and actually developing the platform. So we bring like an extensive experience with the product in the healthcare space, and any feedback that you guys have after today's presentation is more than welcome. So what do we actually have to offer as a company? So first of all, we have our technology. Our technology is a cloud platform that allows people to, first of all, find the data, see it, perform a QA on it, and it's a medical imaging data. So we are talking about chest X-ray, chest CT, ultrasound, mammography, all sorts of type of modalities. And as long as it's DICOM format, we can support it. And we are also working on some non-DICOM formats to be able to expand the platform even further. But overall, the platform is meant to be a very fast, intuitive way to find real-world data. As of now, we have, and I will show you a little bit more slides, but as of now, we have a vast collection of the data that has already been aggregated. And I won't cover those products today, but I just wanted to put it out there that we also have a data pipeline for actually allowing us to obtain this data with fast speed and security. And this data is aggregated from hospital institutions, from medical imaging clinics, and also the incognito product, which is the identification product. And this is actually how we are allowed and how we are able to extract this data safely and securely. And overall, all you see today will be a result of our de-identification technology being at work. So our flagship product is an Openda platform. Openda is a web platform, so everyone can come in, sign up, get the demo of the platform. Aline, who you saw on the slide before, will typically be the person who actually can talk to you and first of all guide you through the platform, show you how it all works and what we have to offer, and also answer all your questions. Openda is very intuitive. So upon login, you have access to more than 30 million reports with basically from the real world clinical institutions. All the reports are de-identified, and the most fun part of Openda is that it's very fast. So you can search for the data and start building cohorts pretty much right away. Data is classified and it's curated, so by the time the data is on the platform, it's already safe to see, safe to share, and overall you have a lot of opportunity to filter your data. So a lot of customers that I see, when they come in, they have some certain type of a picture in their mind on what they want to find. And very often the platform allows them to kind of refine this view because they realize that maybe what they were thinking about is impossible, but the platform makes it very easy for them to kind of play with the data. So it's a very interactive way of, dealing with the data that historically has been very siloed. And creation of the data sets is instantaneous, and basically requesting this data is very easy. I wanted to outline that we have a vast collection of the data. We have historically focused predominantly on the US. There has been a lot of interest in the US data. Most recently, we start to hear about, more and more requests coming for international data. So that's where we actually plan to expand. But what you see here is just a proof that our system and our model works because we keep aggregating and keep expanding our data network. So I will jump to the main part of this presentation, which is the product demo. So this is the interface that you would see right away after you log into Openda. So very easy interface. We always try to make it look like Google. So you basically start with the keyword search, and if you are looking for the lung cancer and you want to find reports matching lung cancer, you can do it. We added a great feature called synonyms, which allows you to not only match exact keyword, but also all sorts of synonyms that can go with medical conditions. And as you probably know, in the real world data, every doctor has a way to phrase their diagnosis in a different way. So lung cancer is not always mentioned as lung cancer, and there is all sorts of other diseases that where the synonyms help, because not always we have users who are experts in the medical domain. Sometimes they are data scientists, sometimes they are product managers, and they just want to find the data for their product. So the most key feature here, I think, for real world data is, of course, how do we find the subsequent exams? And we have a group by patient feature. So thanks to that feature, you can actually group it by patient ID. This ID is fully de-identified, so there is no worry that you will find any original study ID. By the time this data is on the platform, it's fully scrubbed and de-identified, and every ID of the patient, institution, date, social security number, if there were any in the original data, it's all scrubbed, removed, regenerated. And overall, what the group by patient ID gives you a way to do is basically finding this longitudinal record. So if you want to find a patient who has, chest CT followed by chest CT followed by chest CT, because let's say a patient was getting subsequent exams during some sort of a screening when there was a suspicion of a condition, you can do it on the platform. And on top of that, the typical filters that people like to apply are modality, body part, type of machine, type of a software in the machine. So we have it in the interface, and it's very easy to filter. And moving on, when you find what you like on the platform, you will basically start working in Openda a little bit more. So we have a cohort builder that allows us to sort of start creating those data sets. And once you find what you like, you add it to the data set. Very often you may want to request a couple of data sets just to see if the data that you are obtaining from our platform matches your expectation. And the beauty of the platform is that you can do it all under one umbrella. And the concept of data set creation is kind of an integral part of the platform. So at the end of the day, you will get an interface like that where you can actually press request data. When you request data at first, you get a sample of the data. So this is enough data that allows you to say, okay, the quality is good. This is exactly what I expected. And this dashboard allows you to also see, what state is your data set in. And a couple of states are, this metadata fetch, where we obtain data comes from the original institution, and also where we index all this data. And every step transition, you will get an email about, so you know more or less where we are in the pipeline, so you know where your project is. There is a lot of filters that you can utilize after the platform gets the data from the hospital institution. So by the time we get all those DICOMs, we index them, we present them in a very easy tabular form. And I know that customers really like this screen, and also our internal team likes this screen, because that's pretty much their bread and butter, where you filter by age, gender, modality, etc. And at any given time, you can actually dive deeper into your data set. So every item in the data set has a capability of displaying you what is really there. Every report you can preview, and every report is clean in terms of PHI, so you can safely preview it. You can investigate if this is exactly what you anticipated, and there is a very easy way to also add the same report to multiple data sets if that's what you're interested in. And one of the last features I wanted to show you is tagging. So if you are interested in like building a particular cohort, or you have found very specific exam that is of interest to you, you can also tag it. And the tagging is kind of what you would see in Gmail, where you can match certain type of reports with particular tags. What we do is, of course, imaging. So far we've went through this flow where you actually find the report and find an exam by the report, and you can actually, filter and build this patient cohort. What's cool about the platform is that it actually allows you to see the image. So not only, just looking at text and then images afterwards, you can actually look at the image as we fetch this data. What's cool about it is that it's enough of a functionality to do like a QC. So that's great because, a lot of people want to see the quality before they even talk to us. This also allows you to verify that the exam is de-identified, and overall, as you can see, everything here is kind of regenerated. So in the place of, original patient ID, we put like a regenerated patient ID called, Segmed _patient and random number. So that's kind of great. And I just wanted to answer one question from the chat. The question is, can you please elaborate on the sources of the data? How do we ensure diversity across geographic, demographics, and medical conditions? No, that's an amazing question. And the map that I showed before is basically a map indicating that we don't have a target. We are not, even though that we are incorporated in Silicon Valley, we started the company from the get-go thinking about the diversity of the data, because we knew early on that it's very important. And the way it works is that our data partner team, people who talk to hospitals, they basically don't have a target. We ask them, please get as many data partners as possible and make sure that, we target equal amount of hospitals in the West Coast, equal amount in the East Coast. We try to have hospitals in the center of the US, so that by the time we onboard, and some of those hospitals, they have multiple sites, those dots start to appear on the map in a random fashion. And by the time we onboard the data, we also don't bias against any type of data. So we say, please give us an archive. Give us an archive of your PACS system. Give us an archive of your VNA system. So what we have in Openda is a very representative of how the real world data looks like. Meaning, for example, there is a lot of chest X-rays, because overall there is a lot of chest X-rays in the population, and we don't filter for males or females, or it's basically whatever you see in the PACS system you will have on Openda. The only difference is that it's fully de-identified, so you can actually play with the data in a safe space. And medical conditions is another thing. If there is a very rare condition, we don't go after and we don't, target getting, let's say, pancreatic cancers. If it's rare, it will be rare on Openda as well. So the beauty of our model is that we continually try to grow data network to make sure that by the time, you log in, you can find the data that you are interested in. And if the conditions that are rare, if we have them, you will be able to get to them very quickly on the platform.
Well, thank you, Adam, for this demo. We highlighted this Segmed.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
Again,
thank you so much. I really appreciated it.
Again, it was an honor to host the segment.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So on to the next demo. We have CuriMeta, which is an advanced real-world data technology platform business that harnesses and curates complex health data to help accelerate research and support development of new interventions, diagnostics, and cures. They are passionate about harmonizing multimodal real-world data through collaborations with leading academic medical centers and health systems to develop therapeutically targeted, regulatory-grade data sets with high explanatory power that support real-world evidence requirements within the life science industry. I would now like to invite Christian Evans from CuriMeta to deliver the demo.
Forgive me as I'm getting used to this venue. Thank you very much for inviting CuriMeta Thank you to Health Arc and the partners for putting this on and putting this together where we can share a little bit about CuriMeta. My name is Christian Evans. I have the pleasure to lead business development for CuriMeta. I have 25 years in healthcare. I can't believe it. 15 of those in life sciences, and the last 10 in the real world data and real world evidence space, which I absolutely love. I reside in Chicago, Illinois, smack dab in the middle of the United States. And I hope following this short presentation to share really three things with you. One, who is CuriMeta? Two, what makes us unique in our own opinion? And three, where we could potentially help you as you have your initiatives. So first, CuriMeta is an advanced real-world data technology platform business that accelerates research and advances the science of medicine through anonymized, aggregated, real-world health data. So what does that mean? We partner with best-in-class health systems and academic medical centers where they really have a day job, as you know, to provide top-shelf clinical care. They're heavily involved in interventional research. But in this digital age, as we know, is the explosion of data, they realized there was a third leg of the stool to benefit patient care. And that's where we're absolutely mission aligned with them. And it's CuriMeta's job and role to bring to bear data, to do good, not evil, to get into the hands of folks like yourself to further research initiatives and benefit at the end patient care. And a lot of this is driven by the personalization of care, of the development of therapeutics and devices to benefit patients on a precise manner. Our first data collaborators, we call it, is Barnes-Jewish Corporation out of the St. Louis, Missouri area, and Washington University Medical School. They led our seed round, CuriMeta, a seed funding company. We're preparing for our Series A, which they will be involved with. And we will scale through other like institutions, probably through the United States to begin, and then stretch into the rest of the globe as we scale the CuriMeta business. Our starting point is we have 7 million patients in our database. That goes back to 2000. And a little bit about BJC, Barnes-Jewish Corporation, Washington University Medical School in St. Louis. That's 14 hospital system where we also have access to all the outpatient care centers, the primary care centers, the specialty care centers. They also have a top 10 Siteman Comprehensive Cancer Center, Pediatric Center, top in radiology. And so all of these, we have the full access to data. If it was generated in clinical care, CuriMeta has access to it and all the disparate systems to pull that data together. We're really trying to address a couple things in the marketplace that perhaps sit under the umbrella of quality that we've heard from the market. Where can we go with real world data? And the first is the market has a need for not receiving millions of patients to which only tens or a couple hundreds meet the specifications of your use case. And so everything we do is fit for purpose to your specifications, and I'll talk about that a little bit. As I mentioned, and many of you have worked with large academic medical centers, the data sits in silos, in disparate systems all across the landscape. And we work in those many systems, certainly the EHR, but the pathology systems and the radiology systems and the genomic systems to pull all of that together and standardize that data. And we do that in a governance framework that's behind the scenes to our clients, but we're working with our data collaborators on a daily basis around the use cases that you're interested in. We think that the real world data requirements and needs have really kind of moved up in complexity from structured data to then unstructured data. We've known for years that a lot of value sits in that. I don't need to tell you about that. But we also stretch beyond the unstructured data in the EHR to the lab systems, the radiology systems, the genomic systems, to pull all of that together to meet your use cases. We can support and curate to regulatory standards. And, our company, is SOC 2 high trust. And we're really, in addition to that, working in areas, like mental health, for example, and making, a patient population that's in dire need of new therapeutics and diagnostics. But we handle that data very carefully, and we're starting to broach some of those areas when we look at data privacy and security. So what makes us different? As I mentioned, everything we do is 100% fit for purpose. You will send me a specification, and we will curate and build and curate a data set to your specification to meet your needs, all right? We, as I mentioned, working across many modes of data. The foundation of all the data starts with the clinical data out of the EHR, probably layered on with some unstructured elements. We'll abstract those elements. But one area that we really are growing to is when we think about advanced real world data, a lot of our expertise in insight has been honed in the oncology market. There's such a dire need there. We also have a strong presence in oncology. We have some unique aspects, as I mentioned, both having access to the deep clinical care when they're going through their specific oncology treatment, but also access to all the data that sits around that patient journey, whether we're talking about needing genomics as well, whether we need diagnostics, or whether we need to digitize slides, pathology slides, to understand what's going on there and stitch that picture together. So we're not only strong in oncology, we're filling a lot of needs in the neuroscience space. Really excited to bring advanced real world data to neuroscience. That a lot of times involves CT scans, PET scans, the associated reports, as well as some of the genomic information into inflammation, pediatrics, cardiovascular, rare disease. And so we don't have, because our data collaborators are seeing a range of patients and they're so highly specialized in all of those, we can really serve a lot of the advanced real world data needs across many therapeutic areas. I also wanted to highlight, I hope you get this sense, we work hand in glove with our academic medical centers and health system partners on a daily basis. And this is really a unique aspect. We sit right on top of the healthcare system of record. We have access to clinicians, to the executives within these systems. And so some of our secret sauce and our ability to deliver where it's been challenging for other organizations is due to that tight relationship. Again, first with BJC and WashU, but soon to be other organizations as we grow and scale the CuriMeta proposition. And lastly, as I mentioned, SOC 2 high trust and all the things and the team in place, frankly, to both innovate around access to data and do it in a way to do good, not harm. And my last slide is really kind of a way to think about our core data offerings, right? Core RWD, Core RWD Plus, and custom Core RWD Plus. And if I start to the left, Core RWD, think of that as many use cases will just need structured data, structured clinical data, with add-ons of radiology images, and or, as I mentioned, a real unique aspect, pathology whole slide images that we digitize and link those two data modalities together to form Core RWD. When we get to Core RWD Plus and Custom Core RWD Plus, really the difference between the two is your preferred curation technique to meet your use case. In Core RWD Plus, we're looking at using machine learning whereas custom core RWE Plus, we're going to use a team of human abstractors to meet your use case. And then the next line there, full text patient notes, we have a way to think of that as data as a service where you can come into our environment, run on full patient notes to inform your algorithms or take out analytic insights. And then when we look at add-ons, I touched on radiology images and the data as well as the whole slide images. We have access to, if we need to build your inclusion exclusion based on certain genomics data, we can do that. But also we have access to the raw data files that many of our clients are interested to. And the last thing that is very unique is we do have the ability to generate data from existing tissue samples, if you will, to produce new genomics data based on the needs of our clients. And so we do that under IRB. We'll find the PI to support that and really add on that additional value. So in summary, I hope you have a sense of who CuriMeta is, maybe when to think of us, and I can take a few questions if that's helpful, but you have my information there. If we can serve you in any way, we'd be glad to. And again, thank you for inviting CuriMeta to this venue.
Thank you, Christian, for so much for walking us through this engaging demo. It was quite informative and gave us great insights into CuriMeta. I thank you again for being a part of RWEsearch 2024. Yeah, thanks once again.
Thank you. Enjoy the conference.
Thank you.
Yes.
Moving on to our next demoer, Clinvigilant Research. It's a leading functional service provider dedicated to supporting the success of clinical trials. With the focus on quality, efficiency, and innovation, they offer a range of specialized services tailored to meet the unique needs of each clinical trial. Their expertise spans across various therapeutic areas and phases of clinical trials, ensuring your research achieves its full potential. I would now like to invite Bhumi Vyas on stage to deliver the demo.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for this opportunity. So, this is myself, Bhumi Vyas, and I represent Clinvigilant Research as one of the director and the founder member. Clinvigilant Research is mainly a company which is a contract research organization having its own digital tools, and we are working for the decentralization of the clinical trials, boosting the clinical trials to be more quality and maintaining the integrity and the science of it. So, what are the capabilities and the expertise of the Clinvigilant Research? So, we provide services both into e-clinical solutions, CRO services, and consulting. And in our e-clinical solutions, our solutions are beyond anything that many clients have never heard before. So we help in how the decentralization of the clinical trials occurs, how we are maintaining and what type of protocols are there based on the different types of the designs of the protocol. We guide and we consult our clients that how can they make their clinical trials decentralized by using different types of the e-clinical solutions. So we are not only the vendors of the e-clinical solution, but we also guide them for the regulatory and the quality at both the levels and the technical levels also, that how we can go beyond and based on the different types of the designs, how we can use the decentralization of the clinical trials, which we can help in fastening the clinical trial and also maintaining more of the integrity of the services. Another panel is of our CRO services, from writing the protocol, from the regulatory, writing the protocol, submitting to the regulatory authorities, and till to the dossier submission, all from the phase 2 to phase 4 clinical trials, including the RWE we are doing it. So whether it is your medical writing, whether it is the protocol writing, whether it is the conduct of the clinical operations, site management, site monitoring, biostatistics, and the clinical data management, all comes under our CRO services. And the third and the last is the consulting services, where we guide us from the path breakthrough process from developing the molecule till bringing into the market. Our medical experts supports into the entire journey of how to bring that into the path from designing of the product till bringing back into the market. Now, what are the different types of the e-clinical solutions that we work on as, and how the decentralization is supporting this clinical trials are supporting to our decentralized clinical trials are. It is the EDC platform. Our Clinvigilant EDC platform is having all the CDASH and the CDISC based libraries. Then there are real time of the data validations available. It is a front, there is a minimum configuration and the customization been required, so any data manager doesn't need any programmer to do it. Any data manager can easily design using the pre-prepared libraries of CDASH and the SDTM guidance, which reduces your backup process of the CDISC programming. You have the patient management and you have the training management in built, where your protocol trainings, your CCG trainings and everything are being taken care of. There is a risk-based management, so risk-based workflows are there, query management is there, where the users can, the reviewers and the approvers can generate the queries, and the CRCs can answer the query. We have the visit scheduling and the artificial intelligence used for the medical coding, whether it is Madra and Houdini. And there is a central lab module and the local lab modules, where all the laboratory values are being taken care of and the ranges are being taken care of. There is an e-consent module available, where there is a digital signatures, end-to-end encryptions are there, privacy is being maintained, investigator and the patient combinations and their interrogations and their interactions are being well managed, and electronic signatures are being inbuilt, LARs, impartial witness, everything is being taken care of at the digital end-to-end consent process. Total, it is an encrypted process with all the privacies being managed into it, complying to the GDPR compliance. CTMS model takes care of your project planning, your site management, your investigator payments, the budgets, accounts, monitoring reports, forecasting of the recruitments and the randomizations. So CTMS takes care of entire clinical trial management systems, from project management till the budget management, including your monitoring reports and monitoring management. So your monitors can schedule it, they can forecast it when to go for the monitoring, what is the budget of in and what is the expense that has been occurred, what are the due dates, where the project is going, where what are the green lights and the red lights being generated. So all the things are being managed well into the CTMS. The trial master file takes care of all of the site level master files and the central level master files, the investigator files and everything, which is more as a mini document management system, where you can create your protocols, you can maintain the versions of the protocols, you can maintain the site investigator files, your IC documents, your approvals, and even the system prompt you as an artificial intelligence in case if any document is going to be expired. RTSM is more or less like an IWRS and the combination of IRGT. So it end to end your entire investigational medicinal product journey is being taken care of from the receipt of the IMP to a CRO or to a pharma till to the end of it till you discard it. So where it has been received, in which depot it is been received, from that depot how it is been transported to the sites, from the sites to the patient, and after that what is available into the pharmacy. So end to end, each and every pharmacy management is being taken care of, your automatic randomization is being taken care of. The system automatically randomize the patients based on the different types of the local areas that have been kept into it, and the randomization schedules are being taken care of. The kits can be prepared, the labels can be prepared, and there are barcoded systems, so that helps the CRCs and helps the pharmacists to have an easy accountability. Last and list is the data collection. So data collection can be in the form of ePro, eSource, or the data collection. So the adverse event notification, vernacular languages of the patients is being taken care of. So the patients can directly push the data into their ePros and the eDiaries. So this is all about eClinical solutions. In case if you have any concern, you can reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for delivering this demo. We really appreciate your patience amidst the technical glitches. And I'm really thankful that you could be a part of RWEsearch 2024. Thanks once again.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.